And welcome to Hot Topic right here on The Buzz. And I have this morning my in-studio guests, Senators Esteves and Morisson. Good morning, Senators. How you guys doing, man?
Good morning, Senator. How are you?
You're still in good spirits, despite the fact that next week your checks are going to be a little less.
Oh,
Can you make payments on your car payments and mortgages and all that?
Oh, definitely. We're okay.
Okay.
We're okay.
Okay. Because I mean, if I was in there, man, I think I would. My letter of resignation will go into you guys today.
Anyway, guys, I think it's before we were prepared for it. We planned for it.
There we go. But anyway, hey, and it looks like today when we're talking, of course, this morning, what happened yesterday, the actions of the legislature in regards to overriding the governor's veto of the race rollback. Okay, but it's putting more credence to what you guys had introduced, the concept of part-time legislature, and so senators, the genesis of that, and it looks a lot more it's real today.
I mean, obviously you can draw a connection, but that wasn't the purpose for it. I think we were in agreement that the legislature just needed to get out of the business of handling everyone's pay, right? That's not what our job is. But what it did bring to light was we're starting to get away from what our organic act responsibilities are, which is pass legislation, pass the budget, and confirm appointments. And so when we started talking about that, all the frivolous things you see, thousands of resolutions, or potentially up to 1,000 resolutions getting passed, just made us think that we need to look at something different. And considering our backgrounds, just normal guys, public school students, both from the South, we just decided we wanted to give back to our island and get into public service. We were connecting on the difficulties of that, not having a political name, having to work your way through the campaign process, because you have an idea or you have a belief that you can give something back to the community and serve. So when you look at that, excuse me, one of the big issues, at least for me personally, was the whole conversation about pay should never even be an issue. So with the part-time legislature, it's almost like, let's just take that out of the equation and let's bring the credibility and prestige of the senatorial office back to the legislature, so that in a part-time legislature, they know that every one of their senators is there, for the most part, of the goodness of their own heart to take the kind of time, and you can see actively how much additional time they're willing to put in based on whether what they have available or how much they want to contribute.
Now, Senator Morisson, you also have a bill. I mean, because you guys have not merged your bills yet, right? You have a separate bill as well in regards to that. What was the genesis of your bill? Is it similar to Senator Esteves'
Well, it's practically identical. The difference here is, our hope is that we can address this within the body. I hope we can address the concerns of our colleagues, and hopefully they don't make any excuses to not support this. We will address their concerns. We had a public hearing to ensure that Senator Esteves, myself, would incorporate to make the bill better. As you know, Senator, you all know the bill. Our goal is to always make it better. And get the support of our colleagues. The Agenda 61, Bill 61, is really it's kind of the backup plan. If we can't do it in the legislature, we don't want to give any way out. And we'll put it before the people. This has been brought up many times, So if we can't do it in the legislature and get the support, get 8 votes, that I believe to bring a final closure to a part-time legislature that's been brought up for many years, many decades, that the people would decide for it, and then we can bring closure.
I've said this before in regards to part-time legislature as well. And I was fortunate to be able to serve not only as a minority senator, but also majority. And I'm glad I served as a minority first to kind of learn the ropes before I got into the majority side. I don't think you served in the majority side yet, right?
Almost.
Almost. But the fact remains with this as well. I looked at the work that I did every day, and obviously you guys are everywhere doing everything. But when you look, as you said earlier, the Organic Act, what the Organic Act says you're supposed to do, what we're supposed to do, if we limit it to that, really, I mean, it doesn't take 24 hours of your day to do.
It does, yeah. And I
Mhm.
wanted to take the mysticism
Sure,
away,
sure.
you know, and just really be honest.
Mhm.
Speaking for my office, you know, I
Mhm.
have to say there are so many talented people in our branch of government,
Mhm.
and the credit does need to go to them. They
Mhm.
really are the in the way I run my office, you know, I apply my guidance and my agenda and the
Mhm.
things that I want to push forward. Sometimes the priorities shift,
Mhm.
but my staff executes professionally, and I think that's a testament to what we've built there. So part of the part-time legislature is to ensure, at least for the central office, that they become full-time classified positions
Mhm.
and no longer political.
Sure.
That way
sure.
there's continuity. That's definitely a key focus,
Mhm,
and that's I think it's essential whether you're in a full-time position or in a part-time legislature.
mhm.
It's something we should have addressed a long time ago.
Now, for the folks that say, because you have colleagues as well that are not in favor of this, so well, wait a minute, it requires a full time. And when you really look at all the things in your day, you have a full schedule. But again, when you look at your Organic Act duties, okay, it's not a full it's not a full day. We have over the years combined everything. Funerals make a good portion of your morning. You know, weekends are fiestas and weddings that we perform as well. So all these other collateral duties that are not part of, again, official Organic Act duties are put into there. So it makes a full day. I mean, I can do that as well today as a non-senator. I can do that. But if you, again, what you're really supposed to do, as you know, granted to you by the powers of the Organic Act, that you can remove that and you're really part-time.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you said the underlying or the most important task of any legislature is to balance the budget, and I think we're going through that right now, and I think a lot of the new senators are seeing how taxing that could be if you really. I mean, I'm on the committee, and I certainly enjoyed being on the committee. And I've attended every single hearing to ensure that we manage the fiscal year and we make sure obligations of the government is met. But I want to go back to the key. Yes, I have a wonderful staff. They execute really well on behalf of our office. But what's key to this part-time legislature is having a strong central operations. Yes, we're going to realize the savings, but that doesn't mean that we take the savings and reappropriate it elsewhere. That savings should go back to strengthening the central operations of the legislature. Like any agency in the executive branch, even in the judiciary, they have a strong central staff that assists the judges, that assists the governor, the lieutenant governor, even when boards and commissions, when they show up once a month to their sessions. What's key to that? You have the legwork done by their central staff to make sure that the information they're provided is key to making a sound decision on behalf of the agencies. I cannot see this as a large, the legislature as took me 3 terms. Senator Esteves has some good foresight, Senator Limtiaco, those who saw it part-time, but I now understand it.
Okay. You know, for the folks in TV land, we're going to take a quick break so they can insert the commercials, but we're still going to continue the live stream. So TV land, permanent pause. Now we're back, okay? Anyways, gentlemen, back to the again this introduction regarding the part-time legislature. How are your colleagues? I mean, you got 2. You got to have 8 at least to pass, and you've got to have 2 more. It's sounding like, I mean, I listened to the governor last night in regards to the rollback. And he's kind of saying, well, now this kind of gives more credence to part-time legislation at this point. So now it's looking like you might have the governor's support if this would go through. So it probably won't require 10, but maybe only 8. How is it looking? I mean, how's the reception in the legislature at this point?
I've been lobbying the other senators, and you know what that's like, asking them, answering and addressing their questions and concerns, and obviously you have to be willing to compromise. And so we're in that portion. I think we'd be close. We'd be cutting it close at that point. I think a lot of it is a wait and see where everyone else is. But again, you know, we're still open. One of the things that obviously is potentially contentious is we go to a part-time model. And most people still think that the salary would still be either 85 or 55.
Well, 55.3 now, right?
Well, but what it is, it's really going to drop down to 12. So when we looked at comparative models, right? if you look at when they were doing the Hay study.
12 grand, basically.
Yeah, 12 grand, which is a comparative to Nebraska, which is a part-time unicameral legislature, which is $12,000 a year stipend, so it's $1,000 a month, and then $140 per session day,
okay.
for per diem.
Okay.
And so even if you were to add up, let's say we were in session every workday out of the year, and the stipend would still be below 55,000.
Okay.
And that's worst case scenario. Obviously, we're not going to be in session every day. I don't even think we'd be in session every month. But again, that would be up to the standing rules. And then when you looked at the Hay study, when they were drawing the other comparison to a full-time unicameral legislature, U.S. Virgin Islands, which was at 85. But the focus of this, has been to protect this branch of government, and to ensure that there's a place and we can always have competition coming in. I mean, the diversity is the most important thing to this branch of government. Representing a bunch of different backgrounds and ideas. It's the only way we ensure that we're representing pretty much the population, and we're considering all different points of views. And I felt that even at 85 or 55, and when we talk about pay and that becomes a big issue, that might affect that negatively. Because I've had people reach out to me after I won, and people in business, and people who have different jobs in the medical field, and they're like, I'd like to run too. I have all these great ideas, but they've committed time, education to these fields. They have retirement plans, and we have to get to a point where we look at realistic expectations.
Now, Senator, let me ask, because some of the criticism that comes about with this is, I mean, you guys are actually looking like you're dealing with an ethics complaint at this point. There are a couple other things that may or may not come to an ethics complaint. But how do you overcome that criticism that says, hey, well, how do you deal with the conflict of interest now? Should folks work for a certain company now and then come into the legislature and have to make decisions, full disclosure or not? So how do you deal with that criticism?
Well, before we had the public hearing, we had already addressed this concern, and we planned to make the amendment on the session floor.
Okay.
However, it's still in committee, and we're going to just go ahead and make the amendment in the committee, and then have another public hearing. And so when you look, there's a process in place, and it's surprising that it's not actually applied within the legislature. So when we do board appointments and we do any appointments, they fill out, and even Guam, they fill out a disclosure act of potential conflict of interest. So all we're going to do is adopt that. So let's say you're coming in as a senator, you would disclose any business interests, where you work, and then that way everything's up front. Guam's a small island. There's always in that realm of potential conflicts of interest or the appearance of. But I think the first step to ensuring and protecting the organization is transparency. If you're upfront about everything, people are more trusting of that. But criticism is always going to be there, and it actually should be there. There should always be a certain level of criticism as to what everyone's doing, and it keeps everybody honest. So, but I don't think that would end up going away, and I do think that would solve the issue.
Senator Morisson?
Well, I was about to. I'll just echo what Senator Esteves stated. I've been sat on both sides of the table. I'm actually now sitting up, and I'm watching this whole process for the past 3 terms, how we vet out commission members, board members, directors, appointees, and certainly that should also be applied in this sense. And those are concerns that were brought up by our colleagues. Now we hope by addressing that specific concern, that's the only concern so far that we've heard from our colleagues. So I'm glad that we had our public hearing, and I'm glad that we know how to address it, and having an existing process in place. And I'm glad we can incorporate it into the existing bill, and I hope that we'll satisfy these colleagues' concerns and get their support.
Now, let me ask, because obviously you guys are minority senators at this point, so you'd have to go to a committee. What committee? This is government reorg?
General operations.
General operations?
Yes.
Has the committee chair told you when this is going to, do they have enough votes to get it out at this point?
Well, The first bill, Bill 60, which was put forth for the legislative vote, went back to committee because of the amendment that we're going to put forth.
Okay.
There was some concern though, because both Bill 60, which was the legislative vote, and Bill 61 was for the referendum, were introduced at the exact same time.
Okay.
But Bill 61 hasn't even had a public hearing yet, or there hasn't. We haven't heard any feedback on it. So, you know, there's some concerns there. But since we have one bill in the chute, you know, we haven't made too much noise about it yet, and you know, we want to trust the process and trust everything that's going on.
And at some point, they're going to probably come to both the authors and say, hey, do you want to consolidate this? Consolidate the bill. Is there any consolidation?
I think there's an issue with the standing rules.
Standing rules, okay.
That's why we have to do them bifurcated and do them
Separately, okay.
But again, you know, we'll work with the committee, we'll work with the chair. We hope that given enough or more time to address the concerns of our colleagues, that we can now ensure that we can also have both measures for the next public hearing on the agenda. So
on the agenda. Okay.
it makes sense. I mean, we don't want to waste people's time. I think it's identical. We just want to. In the last hearing, we asked folks, would you support a referendum, even though it wasn't an agenda? And people were in support of that. So it makes sense to put this on the agenda.
Yeah, okay, well, fantastic, and well, you let us know, and of course, we'll have you in again, once it's put on the agenda, because then you'll have a more refined bill that we'll go to before, and whether or not it's going to be consolidated or not, right? So we'll have you folks here again in the near future, hopefully it'll come out of committee, right? Yes. Again, for the for TV land folks, we're going to take a quick break so they can work in the commercials, but we're online viewers, we're going to continue with you, so quick pause. We are back. Thank you very much. Senators Esteves and Morisson. Guys, let me ask you. I'm not going to ask on, you know, because of course you're going to have to see this and debate this on the floor at this point. But where we're at this point, I know the casino bill is going to be placed on the session, this session that you guys are in at this point. You know, and supposedly, if it does pass, it will be enacted immediately in this liberation. Just off the bat, without seeing, I guess, I don't know if you've read the bill or not yet, just off the bat, do you think it should be instituted immediately?
Boy, this is a rare moment for me, where I showed up to the legislature undecided on the measure. It's happening rapidly, and I think this is something with all the concerns coming in through our emails and the phone calls that we're getting. I think we'll work with the author and the speaker to see if we can go into committee. We need to bring the mayors who are responsible for pulling off the largest event in our island. And you know, at the end, we want to ensure that that event is not impacted. I don't gamble. But you know, there's statutes in place that allow for gaming activities that the people have allowed for. I just think we need to figure out how we go forward from this issue. And there was talks about making it, delaying it for maybe another year to have some more time to give this committee a chance to adapt and to challenge. This has always been the resource that funds this large event and activity. So
now here are my thoughts, and I had Senator Delina Nelson on my TV show here Monday evening, and he talked about that. Now there's no doubt that things have to change. The status quo is not going to continue. All these issues that have come up, and even as of late yesterday, this is not the mayor's fault, but as a result of again the Department of Labor, the compliance folks, they're looking at a couple people were found to be illegally working, legally here, but not supposed to be working. Not the mayor's fault at all. But the fact remains that, you know, I think there's 4 years that disclosures have not been submitted. Even I guess the bid process was again forgone this year and all that. And I think that process has to change. You know, definitely has to change. But likewise, we're in the middle of this game at this point. If nothing else, the process needs to change. I wouldn't want to remove the governor's powers to be able to do that. And, that's the power of the governor that I don't want to remove, that he exempts. Now, when they say they voted for casino gambling, I voted against measures of casino gambling before, but not of gambling itself, on those specific measures, on where those facilities were going to be at. That's what I voted for, not in gambling. Because if you ask me to vote again and say all gambling, I wouldn't agree with that. I would not agree with that. So you asked me to vote for a specific measure, not on a general topic. And I think most people looked at that way. Now, obviously, things will have to change. To me, the mayors are in it at this point. Maybe you guys can make some changes that may affect some of the things that happen right now. Disclosures have to be done, but for me, this is what I would do, is that, of course, to get licensure immediately after this liberation. If you want to be, to be considered to run the casino next year, you have to apply right now. Everybody has to be vetted. Make sure you don't have any blemishes, whether you have criminal records or even some financial blemishes. All that will knock you out. So you're not eligible to bid. So every single one, and that way we have full accountability, with that. So it's full disclosure. But again, I think it's unfair. And again, for the folks who said that gambling is bad for the community, so is driving. So is driving. And a lot of other things, and I say, I'm going to tell you guys, okay? Could you guys, and I say, you guys, but all 15 of you, could you guys quit being moral policemen? I mean, when I voted for you guys, I didn't vote for you guys to be my pastors or my priests and all that. Okay, I voted to be my leaders. Okay, and if I'm 18 and I'm on my own and I'm not asking you for money for cigarettes or this and that, leave me the heck alone, guys. Okay? I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And
I'm just saying, guys.
You're right. We already have parents, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think my parents did pretty well.
I'm glad you said all 15.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just saying.
With regards to the casino, was when I came in, there's some good advice and that was given to me, is that once your bill was introduced and on the session floor, understand it's not your bill anymore.
The only thing that's yours is your name.
Exactly. So whatever happens on the floor, obviously, I wouldn't know how I'm gonna vote. And as of right now, I'm in favor. I gotta say, and for me, it's different reasons.
Okay.
I was surprised. I like to walk around Paseo with my wife and my baby. We take that time, and there we are walking around Paseo. Lights are still nice, and do some repairs. And there's just this eyesore there. And I was like, well, what's that building? I had no idea, right? I mean, they did a good job. It's good that we're bringing more of the activities. We're making use of the huts that they made that investment in with FestPac. And you see this building there that's just going up. It just doesn't fit. And so what I have serious concerns about is, regards to if we fix the regulations and we fix everything, we just put a casino, a little mini casino, right in the heart of the capital, right next to where families walk.
Well, no, that's
not being moral police. That's just like,
well, that's another thing with that, okay, because when you're looking at placing casinos and things like that, I mean, right in the heart of, there's a kids park right over here, and we were is the Paseo still a ballpark?
Yes, actually.
Well, once they get the bleachers out, right?
Actually, it should be by the next month. Basically,
Okay.
start up. They'll have a brand new field to work with now, and
Well, I hope so, because they haven't played for 2 years, and I was in your butt actually earlier. I was saying, hey, Senator Morisson, where you at? Because you came.
I drove in there. I drove in
Yeah,
there,
no,
and
I-
actually
yeah.
specking it out. The contractor he has 90 days. So
Okay, well,
that worked.
I hope so, because what burned me up when I saw that building going up, and I'm not a ball player, okay, but that's the premier ballpark of Guam, the only premier ballpark, and I'm saying this facilities going up. I said, why can we get those 40 or 50 workers that are there? Can you move the bleachers out of there so the ball players can? I mean, summertime. Summertime is baseball time. You know, let's get these guys and gals playing over there. And I'm just makes me livid when I look at that as an athlete. When we say athletics is very important, you know. Anyway, hey guys, we're gonna cut it off for right now in regards to our live streamers as well for our TV folks. I want to say adios. Thank you very much for that. But can we continue for a little bit with our radio folks, coaches?
Yes.
Okay. So, adios. We'll see you next week. We'll announce our guests as soon as we book them. Okay. Thank you again. Adios.